Jenny McCarthy Show. Oh!
Welcome back to the Jenny McCarthy Show. I'm Jenny McCarthy Wahlberg. You guys, he's back. He was great, so we had him come back this time. I don't have Donnie with me, but you know what? Hopefully he'll still deliver. Bert Kreischer, how are you, buddy?
Good, Jenny. How you doing?
Good. You've got a streaming on Netflix now show, Secret Time. Is this a one-timer or is this a series?
It's a stand-up special.
Nice.
Yeah. It's a 1-hour comedy special. I shot it in Philly at the Troc. I'm shirtless in it. So
now I'm for sure tuning in.
Yeah.
Especially if there's middies and a lot of hair. And,
I've got a straight up dad bod. I've got the kind of body only a perimenopausal woman would be interested in.
That is awesome. I love when they thought Leonardo DiCaprio had a dad bod. I'm like, sorry, that's not called a dad bod.
Oh, they said that Tom Brady had a dad bod. I go, he's a professional quarterback. You're out of your mind.
Exactly. I could show you a dad bod. Have you ever, by the way, before we begin, my first question up, David, my producer, wants to know, have you ever met Gary Busey by chance?
I actually have.
How? Were you in press tour with him?
No, I have. I don't know how I met him. I had a TV show on FX for a long time where we'd have celebrities, and I'd interview celebrities. Crazy. And so, and I think it was right when, I think my buddy produced his show, Breaking Busey or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
He had like that crazy show. But he was like just a fixture you'd run into. I met his son, Jake. Right? Yeah. And then I met his nephew, Mike Busey in Orlando. He runs a sausage castle.
I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah. Mike Busey is probably the nicest of all three.
Just to let you know, he was sitting in that chair just yesterday.
Who, Gary?
Yes.
Yeah, he's an interesting guy.
I mean, he is an interesting character. I mean, you gotta love him because I love nuts.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I actually understand crazy people because I feel like I'm probably one of them. They speak the same language. Like I understood every word he said. Oh,
definitely. Like I remember running into people who you could tell were losing their mind in Hollywood, and you'd be like, when you were young, you'd be like, "Well, I don't even get them." Like I remember Chappelle one time. By the way, I think Chappelle I don't think he's crazy. I don't think he's out of his mind. But I will say that one time when I was very young, I met him, and he was just going through the system, and you could tell he'd had enough of it, and he was smoking a cigarette, and he was just talking to himself. He's like, "They want you to paint paintings, but he was talking to me. I was outside the comedy club. He's like, they want you to paint paintings, but then they go, you can only use color green, and you're not using the right color green, and I was like, whatever." And then I got into the system, and I was like, I get that crazy rant.
Get that
outside.
Weird fucking analogy.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm fucking painting with one goddamn color brush too, and they're like, more green, darker. Right. I'm like, I can't make it darker. It's one color.
We're all going to be Gary Busey's at one time or another. But let me just tell you, and speaking acronyms.
I sat on CBS. I had a sitcom at CBS, and it was the pilot, and they brought me in. It's like 3 a.m. now. We're doing pickups because they're trying to fix the show. It's me, Elliot Gould, and David J. This beautiful young actress, Liz. I wish I could remember her last name. Liz Vossi. Liz Vossi is the wife, right? I'm the best man in the wedding. She comes in. All she has to say is, "Hey, you guys are drinking? Can I have a beer?" My line is to tie this whole picture together that we're all friends is sure. That's all I'm supposed to say is sure, okay? But I'm not saying sure right to them, okay? She's like, "Hey, can I have a beer?" I go, "Sure." "Can I have a beer?" "Sure." "Can I have a beer?" I do 20 takes. "Sure." Elliot Gould leans into me and he goes, he's playing a blind guy, and he goes, "If I were you, I'd improvise one." And I went, okay. So then she comes in. She goes, "Hey, can I have a beer?" And I go, "Hey, is a duck's ass watertight? Come on in, sis." And everyone laughs, right? The showrunner comes up to me, gets really close to me, and he goes, "You are fucking me in the ass. You are bending me over and fucking me in the ass."
No way.
And he goes, "Say fucking sure next time." And he walks away. Elliot Gould has a seeing eye dog in his hand, looks off to the side, just like a blind guy, still in character, and goes, "Sorry."
Oh my God, of course. I mean, that's such a classic story. It reminds me of Christopher Walken. It was my very first movie, Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead.
What a great fucking movie.
It was a great movie.
What a great As soon as you said that, I went, I forgot what great movie that is.
It's a great boat drinks. It was so good.
Oh, boat drinks. Boat drinks. Fucking boat drinks.
Yes.
Fucking boat drinks. Fucking boat drinks. Oh, my God.
No one else knows what we're talking about, but Scott Rosenberg wrote the movie, and I was in it, and I came out of the pages of Playboy. I was there a week, and I was hired to play Christopher Walken's nurse. And I had never been on a set before. I know nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting next to him in a nurse's outfit and I'm feeding him. And they're like, improvise. I'm like, I don't even know what that word means. So I'm going, choo choo with the food, like feeding him like a baby. And they come to me like, that's genius. Just keep doing it. Just keep doing it. And towards the end of the day, I couldn't breathe because he smelled like formaldehyde so bad. And I couldn't believe a living human being could smell like formaldehyde. And then finally at the end of the day, he had to go, stop. I can't take this girl staring at me anymore. She has to do the rest of her lines with her back towards me. I'm like, I only have one line that says hello.
Who says that with their back turned to somebody? Hello.
Exactly. So that was my big Christopher Walken moment, but it was a big deal, that movie, back in the day.
Boat Drinks.
To be my first movie.
Boat Drinks was a line that we watched ironically, meaning like we watched it and we made fun of it. Who the fuck calls it Boat Drinks until we got on a boat and
now I do.
And then it was an inside joke. You're like, boat drinks? And they're like, there's something about that in life where like something is so cheesy, you and your friends make fun of it to a point where it almost becomes your saying.
Totally.
You know, like you do that in like movies, like you'll see like a Borat and they're like, my wife, and you're like, who the fuck? And then next thing you know, you're doing it, not even ironically.
100%. It's all become cool with your friends. Ours was Canooter back in the day. Someone called their pussy Canooter, and we're like, that is the dumbest name.
Oh my God.
And now it's all of our friends are like, our Canooters stinks today.
Our freshman year of college, Steven, I forget his last name, says, we're talking about why we're happy to be in the fraternity, and he's like, I'm just got to be honest with you. I'm just lucky I got a bunch of bros we can chase a lot of slant with. And we went, what? And he goes, slant, right? What do you guys call women's vaginas? Slant, right? And we're like, no one calls it slant. By the end of college, that's all we referred to it as. No! Because we were like, what an idiot. And we're like, hey, what are you bros doing? Just chasing slant? And it was like, it became
great.
Like, who calls it slant?
How about that's the worst one I've ever heard.
Oh.
Although Beast from Paula Bell, I think is the worst.
Oh, Paula Bell's the best.
Oh, she's the best. She's so gross that she's right up my alley. The fact she refers to her own pussy as a beast. How come no one wants my beast? Well, maybe because it sounds like it has teeth, Paula.
I had a girl that I dated who referred to her vagina as her chookie.
See, that does not do me well at all in my mouth. Like, it should have a pretty taste sound to it. Like, let's think of something. It was a great name for a pussy. Pussy's a good word.
Pussy's a great one. But you can but I'm not
but you
I
need
can't
a code
say
word.
I can't say it dirty in bed. Like I can't talk like here's the problem is my once we had daughters, my wife started everything's called a vajay. That's all anyone calls it is a vajay. Like anyone in my house is a vajay. Like my daughters one time when they were young, they saw me naked and my daughter goes, "Oh my God, I saw Dad's vajay." And so it
says a lot about your
I'm saying I'm having sex with my wife one time, and she said something about, she said, ... my vajay. And I go, no, you can't call it what the little girls call it. You got to call it something different. She's like, well, I don't have another word for it. And I was like, well, then don't talk about it at all.
See, we grew up with no brothers, and so only sisters, and we were like, what's that or something. And my mom was like, the boys they're called tutus. So literally, I grew up going like, I've never seen a guy's tutu before. My friends are like,
well, you should go to the ballet.
What are you talking about? A tutu? I'm like, thanks, Mom. Really?
Never seen a guy's tutu.
Do you remember the first time you saw, I don't know how we're getting on this topic, but the first time you ever saw a porno or a picture of a pussy, like in a mag?
Yep.
Where was it? What were your thoughts, and were you scared?
I was in Mikey's bedroom, and I guess his dad had porno mags, and he showed it to me, and I lost my mind. I did not know what they looked like. I didn't know anything about them, and I was blown away. I got to be honest with you, it would almost be like if someone showed you technology you were unfamiliar with.
Right, like a UFO came down and showed you something bizarre, and you're like, I've never seen that before.
Yeah, and you're like, I need to get very familiar with that. And I stole a page out of that porno, and I took it home. And I mean, I didn't even know what I was like turned on by, but I was like, it was wet. It was like oiled. And I mean, and the girl was doing this. She was like,
he's
like
gonna imitate it.
feet up, like holding her, like, so it was
I
showing.
get that.
It was showing through the bottom almost.
Oh, that's a nice position. So she wasn't spread eagle where it was all like
she
a
wasn't
lunch meat hanging everywhere.
It was squished together like commuters on a train.
See, it's better.
Yeah, and I was blown away by it. I was like,
what age was this?
I had to be older than 10, so maybe 11.
So so it was just a natural instinct that you were turned on by the visual of a pussy, even though it wasn't necessarily what you thought it would look like.
Right, and then I've talked about this a bunch because like all my daughter's friends now are coming out trans and gay, and a lot of the dialogue is like, you don't know what you are in 5th grade. I was like, no, I knew what I was in 1st grade. Like, I remember watching Wonder Woman and going, I am turned on by that. I watched the Bugaloos, and they tied up the girl at one point, and I remember being a kid being like, God damn, I want to get tied up on a record player. I was so attracted to so many women.
Oh, see, yeah.
Do you remember the girl? Do you remember what was the TV show with Give Me a Break with Nell?
Yeah.
Do you remember?
No, don't even tell me you're bringing up Nell Carter right now.
No, I wasn't attracted to Nell Carter. Do you remember the teenage girl, Sam, the youngest one? Sam?
Yes.
I had the biggest crush on Sam. Find out what she's doing right now. I bet I can get her on my podcast. Sam had braces, and I was so attracted to her, you have no idea.
What made it attractive?
I don't know. It's just what I was into.
Maybe
her bangs,
metal. Oh,
her bangs and her braces. I just thought it was hot. Nell.
Really?
No, that was Give Me a Break was the name of the show.
Mine was Scott Baio's brother.
From Charles in Charge?
No, he had a brother.
Oh, in real life?
Yes, Chad Baio or something like that.
By the way, was he in Scott Baio's reality show? Because I think I know.
Oh, maybe he was.
I guarantee you was. I think he's shorter than him.
I didn't even know Scott Baio had a reality show.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So you're married to a Wahlberg. So his reality show was similar to like Mark's posse, right? It was like, Mark's got his group of friends.
Totally.
He had his group of friends, and it was like almost like Entourage, but in a Scott Baio 80s.
Oh,
Yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome. I loved his reality show. But I grew up around Scott Baio.
You did? Do you know him personally?
No. I mean, like, I grew up.
You script watching him?
Yeah.
I did too. And then my first few months in LA, he came up to me in a sushi bar and bitched me out an asshole in front of the entire restaurant.
Why?
Because I was on a radio show promoting my Playmate of the Year, and they said,
by the way, hold on. Scott Baio was famous for banging Playmates.
I know. Exactly.
And we ran in all of them at the Improv because they were all like, I used to date Scott Baio. I'm now getting into stand-up.
Totally.
Holy shit.
And the question they asked me, and I don't know if you remember being in LA, and he said, what celebrity has hit on you? And I said, well, Scott Baio has hit on pretty much all of us. I've only been there a month, but he's called numerous times, and he likes the Playmates. And I just found this out because I just moved there. I didn't know it was an ongoing thing. He came up to me and laid into me. He filleted me like the sushi we were eating. And I was like, I'm never going to talk to Scott Baio again. Chachi. I called him Chachi on air. That's what pissed him off.
Oh, yeah. I can see how.
Not that he was fucking Playmates, but because I called him Chachi.
Oh.
Let's get into what your Netflix thing is about. What topics do you cover? Secret Time. It's streaming right now on Netflix.
Yeah, it's. I talk about my family a lot. It's so funny. My first special, obviously, I think is what most people know me from, and that's when I told the story about getting involved with the Russian mafia and robbing a train, the machine.
The greatest story.
Oh, thank you so much.
Ever.
And then this one, it was like, within that special, I also did 50 minutes of just regular stand-up, which is what I do. And then in this one, I just did, same. I did 50 minutes of regular stand-up, and then I tell a good story at the end. It's almost stories throughout. I don't think I tell jokes per se, but I talk about my kids. I call them stupid. I talk about my wife, how she couldn't give a hand job to save her life. The one joke I love is I go, sometimes when my wife's blowing me, I feel like she's gagging for the wrong reason. Just like a rookie at a hot dog eating contest. Just blah, blah.
I'm pretty sure we all are, so don't take it personally. But your storytelling is so good.
Oh, thanks.
Have you ever considered going back to Russia just to test the waters?
Yeah, so we're doing a world tour that I'm not announcing, but I'm saying we are. Starting in January. I'm not supposed to announce it until September, but
it's all right. No one listens.
Starts in January and then goes into July, I think, and I think we're going to end it in Moscow.
Can you please try to get Steven Seagal there?
I would love that.
Wouldn't it be great? And have all of his female accusers be in the front row. I would love to.
So what do you do for a living, sir? I'm Steven Seagal. Oh, I know what you do.
I mean, literally, they made him part of like the Russian government or whatever you call to what is his title? To be nice to the United States, to try to make friends. Thank you.
Can I tell you that is so in my swing zone, is becoming an ambassador? Like, I'm waiting for the call from Kim Jong-un where, like, I want to party with a machine. And I'm like, I'm there, man. I'll fly myself there. Just get me, like, I need a heart out. Like, I need to know that I'm leaving the country. I'd party with Kim Jong-un in a heartbeat. I'm hoping that Putin sees my special or sees the machine story and is like, I want to go horseback riding and shoot guns with this guy.
I wanted to be best friends with you forever after the machine story. I was like, this guy, no, I mean, if he's drinking with the Russian mob and they love him, you can get in with everybody, but you just got to get friends with Dennis Rodman in order to get over to North Korea. Yeah,
that's all. It's so funny. We did a show for Travel Channel. I had numbers of shows for Travel Channel, but one of the ones we went down to Mexico and we had we had bad guys as our bodyguards, like rough guys. They were involved in
cartel. You mean?
Yeah, and they were our bodyguards. And so the first night we're all at a sushi restaurant. None of them speak English except for this one guy, and they're Googling me, and they see the machine, and they tell the one guy who translates. They're like, "Bring him over. Tell we want to hear this story." And so I go over and he's like, "They want to hear the machine story," and I'm like, I don't speak Spanish. And he's like, no, you're going to tell it and I'm going to translate it to them. And I was like, okay. So I start off, I'm like, when I was 22 years old, I got involved with the Russian mafia. And he's like, cuando 22, and he just translated verbatim through the whole story. And I get done, and they're just all these tough Mexican guys are on the edge of their seat, just giggling, going, La Máquina!
See, I would be freaked out. I'd be like, they're going to keep me as their like little, joke of the neighborhood. You know what I mean? They're like, let's keep them fucked up and fuck them up in every way possible.
Oh, they love me. They kept going every time we'd go in places. And I'm like, the whole point of having them there is to keep a low profile and make sure we're safe. But the whole time we go into places, they kept going, hey, he's a famous fat comedian. La Máquina!
I mean, do you still go there? When was this, by the way? What was the date on this?
This in Mexico. I've been to Mexico a bunch of times. I haven't been in a while. This was probably, I don't know, a while ago.
I'm scared to go now. They're chopping people up, and they're not even waiting for you to get into the jungle part.
Yeah,
they're
Mexico's
doing it like
scary.
in the resort.
I went with Rachael Ray, and we had bodyguards with us that followed us everywhere, and they had a gun.
Okay, that was the weirdest fucking combination.
Yeah. She called me up. She was like, this is, by the way, I'm oversharing about Rachael, but like there was a part of my relationship with Rachael, and I think we were both owned by Scripps, meaning like we both worked for Scripps at the same time. But anytime she didn't want to do something or something she didn't find interesting, she would call me up and just go, hey, you want to do this with me? And I'd go, I loved it. I was like, yeah. So she's like, I got to go. I'm going horseback riding and rappelling in Mexico, and I don't feel like going rappelling. But I know if you're there, I'll be able to do it. So do you want to do you want to go? So I flew down to Mexico City with her, and I met her there. And they gave us bodyguards with a gun. And so the first night, I'm like, yo, I'm taking my bodyguard out. Where are you going? She's like, I got an early shoot tomorrow, but you don't have to go. Go out with him. So I took this guy all through Mexico City, just me and him. And the whole time, this is the joke I told her. The whole time I kept saying to him, do you want a beer? Do you want a cigar? And he'd be like, no. I go, do you want a beer? And he's like, no. I go, do you want food? And he's like, no. And then at the end of the night, I said to her, I realized instead of saying quieres, I was saying tienes. So I was saying, do you have a beer? Do you have a cigar?
No.
So the whole night I'm going, do you have food? And he's like, no. And she goes, when did you figure it out? I said at the end of the night when I said to him, do you want to go to bed with me? But I said, you have to go to bed with me.
He was like, adios, amigos. Oh my God, Brett! It's fucking hilarious. I wish you so much success, and I want you to come back. Maybe you can join me on one of our field trips.
Oh, please! I'm in. I'm game.
I want to start doing some Midwest shows to really show the world that media is not just on the East and West Coast. And so I want to hit up like Paducah, Kentucky and places like that. And I think there's no one better than Bert Kreischer.
I'll tell you what I do. I do a thing called a Call In Sick to Work show. Let's do a mashup, a Call In Sick to Work show, okay? What we do is we tell everyone, call in sick to work. We're doing a live show at 10 a.m.
Love it. It's
day drinking. Everyone shows up and starts day drinking at 8, and the show starts at 10, and we put on a live show. We'll do it at a rock venue, like a House of Blues or something.
Yep.
It'll be huge.
But it's got to be in one of those kind of shady cities that they might not even have Sirius.
Yeah. Dayton.
Just call it a social human experiment.
Yeah.
You guys check out his streaming Netflix now stand-up show. I have no words today. Secret Time, it's called. Thank you so much, Bert. Give my love to your family, and I think you're just one of the best.
I will tell Donnie I said hi.
The machine. The machine. That's going to stay with you forever. You know that, right?
Yeah, I'm hoping so. On my grave, I wanted to say, partied out.
That's pretty good. I'm afraid your liver might just explode just to try to live up to your name.
Yeah, we're going to the doctor next week.
What, Nicole? What are you saying? Oh, we have a phone call? Okay, fine. Pick up the phone. Oh, they're talking in my ear. I don't know what they're saying. Talks amongst yourselves then. David, I don't know. Who played Sam on Give Me a Break, does voiceovers for kid cartoons and video games.
I tell you that. Oh, I'm so fucking mad.
Do you know what they're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't.
Sam from Give Me a Break, my 10 crush. My crush.
Oh, your crush. The one with the braces and the bangs.
What does she look like?
She looks okay.
Okay.
She does voiceovers for kid cartoons.
Your mom. Like, your mom in her 40s.
By the way, that's what I fuck is moms in their 40s.
Oh my
wife.
God, then she's perfect for you. Let's end this show before I get more in trouble. Bert Kreischer, thank you so much,
Jenny,
buddy.
thank you so much.
It's good to see you.
Thank you.
Secret Time. Check it out on Netflix now. See you guys tomorrow. I'm going to go take a nap because I really fucking need one. See you later. Bye, buddy.
Jenny McCarthy Show. Oh!